Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you all had as good of a Saturday as I did. Nothing spectacular today other than the fact that I scored some serious watermelon. I went back to the same place I went last Saturday, bought 3 monsters. I mean, these things are seriously about 2 feet long. I don't even know how much they weigh. This old man, I have to work a little bit to hoist them up. And we just had a big cloud cover come in. The temperature dropped about 20 degrees. So, yeah, as life goes, life is good. Today I want to talk a little bit about inner work, loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Guys, I do videos every day. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd go hit that subscribe button now and come back and check out a little bit more of my content. I've told many people I'm really not all that. I'm kind of moved past the food thing. Not that I've changed a lot about the food thing, but after years and years of talking about the raw food diet and everything raw and food related, I kind of feel like I'm sort of in a groove and on cruise control with that. So as I've mentioned in some of these weekend talks, it's a little bit more about the inner work, the inner journey for me, and working on some of those rough edges of mine that I could use a little bit of work on. I think you remember, I can't remember if it was last Saturday or the Saturday before that, I was talking about the heart chakra and some of the work that I'm doing on that. But that's just something I can, like I say, I'm not a bad person, but I can be a little bit cold sometime. I don't have like the full range of emotions that some people do. I can be a little Spock-like. So got a couple of readings here that I wanted to share. One I've been reading a good bit about lately, or I've not a good bit. I've read it a number of times in the past, but I've just been really tuning into it a little bit more. And one of it's really I've got two articles here. Like I say, one is actually titled "Loving Kindness, Compassion, Joy, and Equanimity," and it is all about the four immeasurables, a list of the Buddhist virtues. And just to read it to you. Then I'll read you the article. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings not be separated from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. I kind of like to read that and just go over that and over that because it's kind of like whatever you want to call it. It's a little prayer, it's a little thought, it's a little meditation. Just about, like sending out this loving kindness to the rest of the world. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this one. The Brahma Viharas, or four immeasurables, are a list of four Buddhist virtues that we can cultivate through our meditation practice. They are considered antidotes to negative mental states. I think they're called immeasurable because their impact on our practice is so great that it can't be measured, but who knows? Although this list of virtues has its origin in Buddhism, it would probably work equally well in any religious tradition. The four immeasurables are sometimes discussed as virtues in texts of Jainism and Hinduism, but they are Buddhist in origin, we think. The four immeasurables are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Loving kindness is the wish that others be happy. That sounds easy, but it is supposed to include everyone, not just our friends and people we know, but everyone. When we cultivate loving kindness, we're trying to extend it, first to all the people we love, then to the people we feel neutral about, then to the people we dislike, hate. Only when we can really cultivate this can it be said to reach the immeasurable level. Loving kindness counters ill will. Compassion is similar. It is the wish for others to be free from suffering. Again, we want to cultivate compassion and try to extend to include all beings, not just the ones who we love or who we think deserve it. Wishing suffering upon others or turning a blind eye to it is not helpful to us. It can plant negative seeds in our minds. Compassion counters cruelty. Joy is the attitude of rejoicing at the happiness and virtues of other sentient beings. Again, we want to cultivate joy and try to extend it to all beings. When others are happy, we want to take joy in this. This is the counter to jealousy. That's a big one right there. You see that one especially on social media all the time. Just people trying to, you see people that will post something or express something that, and you see the joy in them, and there's just certain segments of people that are just immediately jump on and try to tear that down. It's jealousy, plain and simple. And then equanimity is the attitude of regarding all beings as equals, regardless of their relationship to oneself. This sounds simple, but it's probably the hardest to cultivate. It involves trying to view all things as equal, not being attached to our circumstances or to our desires. Letting things just be as they are. Equanimity counters clinging and aversion. The Four Immeasurables is a set of teachings that are designed to open the heart and improve our relationships to others, and also our relationships to ourselves. The Buddha said, "I teach only suffering and the end of suffering." This is something we can forget sometimes if we are studying some of the really deep teachings. Teachings like the Four Immeasurables remind us that we have a goal, to be free from suffering. That's a good one. And another one, I actually had this marked the other day, and I just want to share this with you because it kind of extends those thoughts. I would really suggest going and searching this and listening to it. I'm going to read it to you. It's a Buddhist prayer for the end of suffering. But if you go to YouTube, search for The Great Bell Chant by Thich Nhat Hanh. Thichnhathan, something like that. Thich Nhat Hanh. You'll have to look it up, but just go and search The Great Bell Chant, and it's about 7 minutes long. And sometimes I just put it on. You can sit there and breathe with your eyes closed. You can watch the video or whatever, but it's just very peaceful. The beautiful prayer written by Zen Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh is chanted by Brother Phap Nyam. May the sound of this bell penetrate deep into the cosmos. Even in the darkest spots, living beings are able to hear it clearly, so that all suffering in them cease. Understanding comes to their heart, and they transcend the path of sorrow and death. The universal Dharma door is already open. The sound of the rising tide is heard clearly. The miracle happens. A beautiful child appears in the heart of a lotus flower. One single drop of this compassionate water is enough to bring back the refreshing spring to our mountains and rivers. Listening to the bell, I feel the afflictions in me begin to dissolve, my mind calm, my body relax. A smile is born on my lips. Following the sound of the bell, my breath brings me back to the safe island of mindfulness. In the garden of my heart, the flowers of peace bloom beautifully. Be transported to a place of serenity and hope with this exquisite prayer. But I would definitely recommend that you look this up. I've listened to this video. Mostly, like I say, I just tend to close my eyes and listen to it with my headphones in. It's kind of a meditation on its own, but very, very peaceful. It's a great way to end the day. Sometimes I'll just remember. And, as I feel like I'm starting to wind down at night, I'll just take a few minutes and put this on and listen to it. But, this is the stuff that's the most important. I mean, I know, like I say, I talk about food most of the time. It's mostly been about food, but you can only babble on and on and on about food. At some point, you got to kind of get past the food stuff, or for me, I'm not saying anybody else, for me, at some point I have to kind of okay, now it's time for some more work, it's time for reflection, and I've mentioned a lot of times before that I think changing lifestyles, changing the way that I eat is very important. I'm not, when I say that, I'm going past the food, I'm not changing what I'm eating. It's just you can't talk food, focus on food, and just these next levels all the time. These are the kind of things that eating cleaner, getting rid of the dirtiness, the booze, all that kind of stuff out of my life. That's what, it opened me up to. It opened my mind to other work that I need to do. But anyhow, I'm just kind of babbling, expressing some thoughts there in a haphazard way. Hope you guys enjoyed those readings today, and you hope enjoyed the video. If y'all like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.